Hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Happy Labor Day. Just checking stuff. Okay, looks like we are good to go. Okay, alright, welcome everybody. Like I said, happy Labor Day. I'm here. Don't worry, I'll be grilling out later. So we'll be doing some grilling later. But for now, we're gonna do some rigging. So yeah, let's should be fun. If you recall from our previous stream, we've been working on rigging our GRUB. And we got some basics set up. We got his basic skeleton, and we've got most or if not all but the legs, got most of the FK controls mapped out, constrained, ready to go. Sorry, my email is exploding. Tends to do that around this time. Alright, so yeah, so here we are. So today's goal is going to be to set up the rig for the legs and the whole rest of the body. So that'll involve setting up FK, IK switches for the legs. And yeah, if you don't know, if you're not familiar with IK, you're gonna find out about it today. So should be fun. I'm honestly not sure how this is gonna go. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, so let's just dive in and see what happens. Alright. So the idea is we're gonna have basically like shadow rigs, like copies of the joint chains from the hip to the ankle, basically. And we're gonna have one that's driven with a set of controls for FK, and we're gonna have another copy that's got a set of driven controls for IK. Excuse me. And then combining those, we'll have some expressions that basically tell the bind skeleton to follow one or the other of those based on what our animator has chosen as their preference. So let's get to it. Go ahead and hide that. Okay, I don't need the foot. Foot roll and IK feet are really complicated, really useful. But I'm gonna see if I can get away with not doing one, because it's a lot of work. Alright, so we've got our foot, got our ankle, and we've got our hip. And this should work fine. It's been a little while since it's a little unusual doing these like dog legs, you know, with the backwards knee, but should work fine. Okay, so let's see. Let's change our names first of all. So this is no longer a bind skeleton. This is now our IK skeleton. So change that to IK, JNT. Alright. Okay, I'm trying to remember here. Right, alright, so we've got to set up our IK, so we go to constrain. It's in here somewhere. Isn't it? Here we go. I think this is it. Create IK handle. Yeah, we want... Yeah, so you've got different solvers to choose from. Rotate plane is the best one. I think the way this works is you click the first, and then you click the end. Yep, there we go. And it creates our IK handle. Nice. I'm going to real quick add a layer here for our geometry, so I can control its visibility, because I want to show you this without stuff being in the way. Okay, so get that. Add. Nice, alright. So, see now how it added this effector, and it added this IK handle. This IK handle is what moves our joint chain. Hopefully this is nice and visible on the stream. These lines are kind of thin. I can thicken them. Let me turn that up. Display line width. Okay, hopefully that helps. So yeah, can you see? So you see how this is a different action than an FK, right? It's, you know, we're moving the end joint and everything is updating to match it. And that's very cool. Make sure I put that back where it came from, because the transforms on it are not clean yet, which is what we'll have to fix. Oh boy, okay, but now we need a pole target, and that means I need to remember how to set up a pole target. I told you I'm a little rusty on this. Pole vector. Looks like they've added some stuff to this actually. That's kind of cool. But we'll just stick with the old school way of doing this for now. Oops. Darn, how do I do this? Ah, here we go. Pole vector. That might be what I want. I think that's what I want anyway. Might have to look up one of my old rigs. Let's do that. This guy has a crazy rig. So here you see this is an IK arm, and it's much more complicated than just a standard IK arm, but at its core, it's still an IK arm. So here we go. We've got our bind skeleton, left arm setup. There you go. You can see how it's got the two separate skeletons. This orange one is the IK one, the blue one is the FK one, and if I switch, it goes between them. That's the idea. So, how does this work? Oh, this is a spline IK. Is that gonna matter? No, it shouldn't matter. That's right. Okay, aha. Okay, so it's a pole vector, so you add the pole vector constraint to the handle. I'm gonna keep this in a separate window. I had to boot up here, second instance, so I can compare them. Oh, this is going to be so cool when it's done. I can't wait to have both of these guys running around. It's going to be so fun. Alright, so let's see. There's a few ways to do this. So, the way I did it here, and this is a cool way to do it, I've got this custom arrow shape, which I can probably copy, but see how when I move it, it actually rotates to aim at the elbow joint? That's just helpful for animators, because when this is off, like in a weird angle or something, like if this were just like a circle or a cube, it's kind of hard to tell, like maybe it might be this one and maybe it might be this one, you know? But having it kind of point sort of helps the animators visually read it. So I set that up for this. I'll probably try to set it up here for the GRUB too, but maybe I'll not worry about that till we get the basics working. So for now, what do I want? Maybe I'll just use a circle as my control shape. Oh yeah, and then it's also kind of important to have these snapped and set up a particular way. Let's try this. So if I snap it there, it's bigger so I can see it. Let's see. Well, let's just try it like this. So if I pull it out here, I think I can then come in here, and I want to select this, and then the handle, say constrain, constrain, pull vector, add. Okay, now, you can't tell that anything happened, but if I go in here now and start moving this, I should be able to select this. Perfect. Yep. So now I've got control over where the elbow goes. Or knee, rather. Alright. Alright, that might be all we need for our basic IK for one leg, right? And that'll help a lot. That should help the animators. So, what we need to do next is start setting up our controls to kind of make this all work together. So I'm gonna need a nice control shape for our foot. So let's make one. Which one of these is EP curve? EP curve. And so I want, this is a convention that I use too, is I usually have it so my IK controls are kind of square, and my FK controls are rounder. That way anybody using one of my rigs, you know, if they're aware of that at least, then they can know what's going on a little easier. Let's go there. Actually, can I? So this is going to be our control. So this is the same process as what we did on our FKs, where we need these to all have clean 0 transform, right? In order to be able to reset our pose to neutral. As I'll give you an example. I've got these guys all posed, but I can just reset their rotations and it all goes back. Just like that. That's extremely important for a professional rig. So... second, I'm gonna go check on something. Wait. So here's the idea. We need that. We're going to use this to drive our IK handle, right? But we need it to be able to be reset. So we got to do our little offset trick. What? Oh. Okay, I think this is the problem. Gotta freeze that. Then we can snap it there. What is going on here? Come on. There. I don't know what that was about. Alright, but now we've got what we want. Unparent that. Parent that. We've moved our transforms off of that one onto this one. Now we can rename these. Control left foot IK. This is control left foot IK offset. So see now, I can move this and reset it safely. And so now, I can choose this, and then I can select my IK handle, and I can create a parent constraint. Now that moves our IK joint chain. Perfect. So that's step one. Yeah. Oh yeah, and this... actually. So I need to do this too. I need an offset for my pull target. This is the control left leg pull IK. There we go. Oops. There. So now we've got a lot of flexibility for posing the leg. And sometimes it makes sense to parent the pull target like under the control, the main control. That'll make it follow it along. But we may or may not want that. That's kind of easy to just fiddle with later down the road, so I'm just going to leave them unparented for now. All right. So now we've pretty much just got to repeat this for the other leg. First, I will put all, oh yeah, let's rename this. This is left foot IK handle. I'm gonna put all that together. Call it left IK setup. Double checking that I didn't break anything. And that all looks nice. Cool. So now we can do the same thing for the right foot. So we want the hip, the knee, and the heel. Got the foot for bonus. We don't need it. Rename these. Definitely important to keep on top of your naming when you get to this part, because this is where it gets really confusing. Right pole, right foot, okay. And we've got our right joints. Nice. So time to do our IK constraint again. And yeah, it's weird that they put it under skeleton and not constraint, but I guess it makes sense in either place. Alright, got our IK handle now. Let's see, call this our foot IK handle. And if we test this, it's got the same effect. So let's go ahead and set that as our constraint. Pull vector. There we go. And now we just need to constrain this to the handle. So grab that, grab our handle. There we go. All right, it's functional IK for both feet. So now we have our left setup and we have our right setup. Okay. That wasn't too bad. That was the second hardest part. Okay, so just leave that like that for now. And now we need to do our leg FK setup. And again, we're gonna need a second skeleton for it. So hide that. Bring this back. Do this again. And again, I want some decent control handles for this. Alright. These will be our IK handles. Or sorry, FK handles. And I wonder if I can actually do what I just did there, which is just snap the origins to the joints. Wonder if that'll work, huh? Guess it's worth a try. That's cool. Might be able to do that. That's pretty time saving. I should have tried that a long time ago. So what I did is I just snapped it and then set the origin and then freezed the transforms on the handles in order to make it match. And it kind of looks like it worked. Alright, cool. Now we've got our FK joint for the left side and our FK controls for the left side. So that's... Alrighty. Now we can read our offsets. Alright, now we've got all those working. Nice. So now we can parent them, so knee goes to hip, foot goes to knee. And there we go. Alright, and now it's just a matter of constraining the one to the other. Before I do that, I think I'll go ahead and make my right side skeleton. Yeah. There we go. And then I'll take this whole stack, duplicate, group it. Duplicate, group it, and mirror. So I just scaled it by -1. And as long as these are all grouped under an offset, like a global offset parent, on negative scale, that won't push down onto the actual controls, so that should be fine. Now I need to rename these. So I want to replace L underscore with R underscore. Looks good. Sweet. So now I've got my left FK and my right FK. Hey, hey! Dr. Override, what's up? Happy Labor Day. We have been working on rigging this guy. We're getting there. We started one stream ago. We got all of these basic FK controls set up. And now we're working on the legs, which is the fun part. Uh-oh. There we go. Make sure you set the pivot to object. So yeah, so we set this up. All of these controls are all offset so that they have 0 transforms, which is what we need for a clean rig. So we can reset it to neutral easily. And so now we're working on setting up the legs. So we got the legs in IK and FK. We've got their like separate. So they have. There's going to be three skeletons per leg, one for IK, one for FK, one for bind. And so we just finished setting up the FK one, and we're about to. Well, not quite finished. We still need to add the constraints. So once I add the constraints, we'll be done with that. And then we can work on constraining the IK rig and the FK to the bind rig and setting influences to create the switch between them. Haha, maybe. Maybe. We'll see. No promises. This will probably be a shorter stream because I've got grilling to do. It's Labor Day. But yeah, so you see we've got these. You see how they move like that. So now we just need to make the joints come along for the ride. So we'll do that with a parent constraint. And let me hide the right one so I don't get confused. Okay, so I want left hip FK to left hip FK. And I want parent with maintain offset turned on, and then knee to knee, and I can just press G to repeat last, which in this case is adding a constraint, and G. Okay, now, check it out. Woo! Now when you move these, the leg moves. Or the joints follow the controls, is what I mean. So that is the left leg FK setup. So I'm going to group that left leg FK setup and hide that. And now let's do the same here. FK to FK, constraint, knee to knee, constraint, foot, I called that foot and that heel, that's not good, but whatever. Foot to heel. Okay, and now... Uh-oh. No, what happened here? Pivots are all messed up. Oh, no. No, that's not what I want. Alright, gotta undo all that. When did this happen? Darn. Because of this? Yeah, I think it's because of when I mirrored that. Yeah, I'm working on Labor Day. Oh, is it work? Is it work if you love it? I feel like this is not work, you know what I mean? Because this is fun. I like doing this. We're not working, we're just hanging out. You know, we're just hanging out on the internet, building some stuff. I try not to work on Sundays, but this would be like, I could consider doing this on Sunday, right? Because it's fun. It's more like just hanging out. So somewhere along the line I made a mistake. last time. I mirrored this. So see how these have their pivots? They're all like this, you know, lined up with the joints. The left one, they were like all over here, which wasn't right. So okay, hide that. Now this is my new one. And I need to rename these so I don't confuse myself, because these are no longer going to be left, they're going to be right. Before I do that, I'll try this again. Okay, -1, and then these are all fine. So we are exploiting the rules of, you know, parenting, 3D parent-child stuff to be able to reuse our controls from the right side on the left. And we're doing that by just parenting this whole chain to an offset node scaled by -1. And that basically mirrors it for us. And before I forget, I need to search and replace names. Very handy little thing. Change L to R. Boom. And then this needs to be 0. I use 0 to denote that it's an offset node. And so then this will be right FK leg. Wait, yeah. 0. Because it's an offset. Let me know if any of this doesn't make sense. I know it's kind of confusing. Yeah, if you have questions, just shout them out in the chat. And I'll do my best to explain. Alright, so this looks correct now. So now we can start binding these to our actual joints. So we go hip to hip, parent, knee to knee, parent, foot to heel, parent. That's right. Nice. All right, so now we've got our right FK foot. So I'm gonna put both of these together, and we'll call that right leg FK setup. All right, so we've got our right leg FK setup, we've got our left leg FK setup. We've got our left leg IK setup with a handle and a pull target. And we've got our right leg IK setup. Nice. All right, that's most of the hard work done. Let me save that and check this into source control before I break something. Neat. So now comes the hard part. This is the part that I'm not sure if I remember how to do. What we need to do is we need to create some Maya expressions to drive whether we move the bind skeleton based on the IK skeleton or the FK skeleton. And like I said, I don't know if I remember how to do that completely. So the idea is we'll be able to move this, and these, the white bind joints will follow it, and then we can set another setting to make them follow the FK bind joints. So Let me hop back over to my other rig that I did like years ago and try to remember how this all works. So you see we've got this IK-FK blend, and it does a lot of things. Basically, when it's in IK mode, it switches this label to say IK. And so there's two labels. There's an IK label and an FK label. And basically they take their visibility by this value. And I don't remember how I set that up. So we are going to look at the node editor. Okay, so... Right. Okay, so we've got these assets. Got a left arm and a right arm. And it contains the, all the controls for that side. Right, asset contents. Okay, under both. Yeah, that's what I want. So what I want is to graph all the connections to this. There we go. Okay, yeah, this is it. Oh, where'd it go? Come back. Alright. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Alright, so... Okay, so I put my attributes on the asset, and then that drives the constraints. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. Let me just put this over here for now. Alright, we're gonna give this a try. Oh boy. So first I need to remember how to create an asset. Oh man, I might have to Google that. Oh wait. Haha. Nice. Let's see, what was my naming convention back here? Okay, it was just left arm and right arm, so... So this will be left leg. Alright, it's coming back to me. It's coming back to me. Alright, so we've got our left leg asset. Yeah, and then... Okay, well first of all I know I need to add my attributes. So channels, or no, attribute editor. Attribute editor, attributes, add attributes. Alright, this is the fun stuff. So this is going to be left IK FK switch. I had a fancier name for it. I just called it LIKFK. This is better. And so it's going to be a float scalar going from 0 to 1, and it'll default to 0. So 0 will be IK, 1 will be FK. If that makes sense. I hope it does. And so add. So I just added that to my left leg asset, and now when I switch to the channel box, you see we now have a new channel. And it's called LIKFK switch, and it's a float that goes from 0 to 1. Make sense? Alright, now I need to add these controls to the asset. And that is something I'm not sure if I remember how to do. Do I just parent them? Ooh, that's it. Okay. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Alright, I think it's coming back to me. Alright, so we've got our IK, or sorry, we've got our FK controls as part of the asset. And now I also want my IK controls to be part of the asset. Nice. Okay, okay. We're getting there. Now... okay, and so now that this is a child of the asset, I can access the asset's property from it. This is, in my opinion, at least as far as my knowledge goes, this is the best way to set this up, because now you've got access to that variable from any of these. So you can select any FK controller or IK controller and have that variable right there, which is nice. You don't have to go like digging into like a rig controls menu or something to find it. All right. Okay, so next up, we need to actually make use of this. So we've got our little variable that we needed. We've got our controls added to this asset, but nothing is actually happening yet. So we need to set up our connections and then make use of this variable. So the way we're going to do that is we are going to grab our FK joint and our IK joint, and we're going to constrain both of them to our bind joint. So we're on left, hip, constrain, parent, add. Okay, and nothing visible has happened yet, but don't worry about that. If you look now at our hip bind joint, we've got this new, these influences, left hip FK joint weight and left hip IK joint weight. They're both set to 1. These are the variables that we're going to drive using that asset. But so for now, let me go ahead and set up the knee. So that's my IK knee. That's my FK knee. Yeah. Wait, where did my knee go? What? Hang on, what happened here? Where'd my IK knee go? That's the problem. What? Hey, what happened? Somewhere along the line, my knee disappeared. Come on. Let's just undo. Let's walk that back. There we go. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Don't worry about it. Okay, that all looks right. So I want my knee IK, and I want my knee FK, and then I want my bind. My knee bind. Okay. Constrain. Parent. There we go. We've got our influences now. So now I need my heel IK, my heel FK, and my heel bind. Nice. Parent. All right. That's what we need. And now we should be free to start setting up our connections. So to do that, we're going to need our node editor. All right, so we need to add this our asset with our switch attribute. And then we need to go and get these constraints. So the heel, knee, and hip bind constraints. And we're going to add them to our graph. Okay, here we go. So now, you remember I was showing you in the attribute editor? When I selected this, when I selected the knee, I showed you these here. So this is what people don't know about Maya. It's all node-based. And this is the node. So like this node is this information. In fact, yeah, you see when I click it, it displays it in the attribute editor. And so this editor gives us the ability to make connections between things. So these are the ones I want. I want left knee FK joint W1 and left knee IK joint W0. All right. So here's where we got to do a little math. So stick with me. This is our IK FK switch. It goes from 0 to 1. IK is 0, FK is 1. So what that means is when this is on 0, I want the IK influence to be 1 and the FK influence to be 0. When it's on 1, I want the opposite. I want the FK influence to be 1 and the IK influence to be 0. So for IK it's simple enough. IK FK switch just goes straight into... No, for FK it's simple enough. Because 0 is IK, 1 is FK. So it goes straight into FK. Yes, because now on 0, FK will have 0 influence, and on 1, FK will have full influence, right? Yeah, okay, makes sense. Now for IK, I need it to be the opposite. When it's on 0, I need it to have 1 influence, and when it's on 1, I need it to have 0 influence. So I need a reverse node. So reverse, and reverse works on a vector 3. But yeah, we just need the 1. We just need the X. So make sure now you output just the X to FK. Cool, makes sense? And now we need to do the same thing for the others. So this is the heel. So I need this to go to the FK, and then I need this to go to the IK, and then same for the hip. This goes... I need a bigger screen. Come on. This goes to FK. And then this goes to IK. Yeah. Alright. Now the moment of truth. If we did everything right and didn't mess anything up, this ought to work. So let's find out. So if I select this, and it's on 0, so as of right now, the white skeleton should follow the IK controls. And it does! Woohoo! And since we already have some basic binding set up, the mesh follows it too. Okay. So far so good. Now, if I set it to 1, it should follow the FK controls. Whoa. Uh-oh. Well, I've got some problems, but it's not from... Oh, come on, what happened here? Ah, man. My controls are messed up, but the connections are working. That's not ideal. Well, the part I was talking about worked. Oh, man. Wait, hang on. What just happened? It just went back to normal. I'm thinking I probably shouldn't have cut those corners earlier when I parented these. Whoa. Huh? What? Oh, that's the foot joint. Ugh. Yeah, okay. That's great. I'm gonna have to tear that apart and start over. Well, the IK is working. So see, now when I move the IK, nothing happens. But if I switch it, now we're following the IK. Alright. And the foot isn't orienting the way we would expect it to, but that's okay. We're gonna fix that later. So this is working except for my FK controls. My FK controls are all messed up. Alright, but now I remember how to do this, so that's nice. So this is what stinks about rigging. When you mess something up, you kind of just have to redo everything, so I believe I need to just delete all these connections now, because I'm gonna have to redo them later when I have these working right. That's so fun. It's because these have, like, pre-transforms or something on them. Oh yeah, so we can demonstrate the effect that has. Now that I deleted that, the switch should not work anymore. Yeah. So yeah, that's that, and then I can delete these constraints, and now this shouldn't have any effect on the bind skeleton at all. Yeah. Alright, well, everything is working as expected, except for this. I'm gonna just start this over, basically. These hip controls, the FK hip controls. So this is what I mean by tearing your rig apart. You go in, you delete all your constraints, get things back to just raw transforms. And then these guys, because they're acting weird, I don't trust them anymore, so I'm gonna delete them. Hide that. Hide all this stuff. Hide my geo. Focus on this now. And I don't need my IK, so I'll hide that. Alright, so we're back to our FK. The joints are still good. Oh yeah, get rid of the constraints. Alright, so now they're just joints again. Alright, so I don't trust these guys anymore. So I'm gonna delete them. And then they go away from there too. Alright, nice. Alright. Okay, let's do this right this time. So, in the interest of keeping things simple, I'm gonna forego making custom shapes. Because it caused me nothing but trouble. The most I'll do is just rotate these so that they're a little easier to see. Whatever, that'll be good enough. Alright, now everybody's favorite part. Alright, back to square one. This should work. So these should now be clean without any problems. Sure as heck hope so. So I can move that, and that follows it, and I can move that, and that. Alright. That should be what we want. Alright, so now we gotta redo the constraint from the controls to the FK skeleton. So we go hip to hip, knee to knee, and heel to heel. That's the right hip. Ah, whatever. That's what I want. There we go. Alright, now we're in business. Okay, so that is our left leg FK setup. Should now be functional. Now we can reestablish our connections between the bind skeleton and the IK and the FK skeletons. So, you know what I'm going to do? Just to make this a little more readable, I'm going to make the bind skeleton joints a little smaller. Yeah, just make it a little easier to see what's going on. Cool. Alright, so now we've got our left FK set up, and we've got our left IK set up. Make sure that still works. Yep, looks good. FK. Still works. Nice. You know what else we can do to make things, well, actually no, never mind. I'm not going to do it that way. I was going to say we could make these be different colors, but I'm actually going to reserve the different colors for the left and the right side of the rig, because that's helpful. it won't be a big deal seeing all these controllers overlapping in the end, because we're going to manage their visibility based on which ones are active. Alright. Okay, so we need our node editor back, right? Yeah, I think it's node editor time. Ooh, let's just clear that. Okay, so I want this. And then I want... oh wait, hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. I need my constraints first. Yeah, alright. So I need these guys, and then I need my bind skeleton, those guys. So, left hip. Yeah, these are IK, left IK, and left FK. Okay, left IK. Left hip IK, left hip FK. Left hip bind. Constrain. Now we've got our two influences. Knee IK, knee FK, knee bind. Constrain. Left heel IK, left heel FK, left heel bind. Constrain. Okay. Now we need our node editor. So, we've got that. And now we need these three. Oh, and you know what? That reverse node is probably still here. So you can, this is one of the things that's confusing. You can have nodes that are not DAG objects. And I'm not really sure what DAG objects means per se, but I know I think it basically means it has a transform. So if you uncheck DAG objects only, then you start to see these other things like reverse nodes. So I can add it to our graph here, and now I don't need to make a new reverse node. Alright, so now we just reconnect what we had before. So let's think through this again. IK, FK switch goes from 0 to 1, so 0 is IK, 1 is FK, so that means this goes to our FK. And this goes to our IK. And then same for here. FK to IK. Or, sorry. This to FK and then the reverse to IK. Right? Because the reverse is going to be backwards. So when IK is 0, it'll be 1, which will crank up our IK influence completely. And then this will be 0, so it'll set our FK influence to 0. That took me a really long time to get. I learned this from the old Namen DVDs, which are amazing. And yeah, it took me a long time to wrap my head around that, so please, you know, hit me with your questions. Oh, hey, what's up? Vishwanath, welcome. Oops, what did I just do? Okay, I guess nothing. Yeah, so Vishwanath, we are working on our rig for this guy, and we're almost there. Like, I mean, it's almost, all the basics are almost working. So let's see, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here before I lose my train of thought. Yeah, I think I set this all up. So we've got this left leg asset with a custom channel that we are using to control influence of our bind skeleton between an FK skeleton and an IK skeleton. And let's see if it worked. So it's on 0, so that means it should be under IK control. Yeah. Cool. And now if we move this to 1, it should push it to work under the FK control. And yay! Yay, it's working. Sweet. Alright, so that's the left leg. Now we just have to do all that again for the right leg. But for now, that's working very nicely. So let me add one more thing, which is just for our animator's ease of use. I want to add a label that tells us if we are in FK mode or in IK mode. Actually, how did these get out of our asset? That's weird. Well, let's just re-add them. There, okay. So yeah, okay, so if we didn't do that, they wouldn't have this attribute appear. So yeah, I guess to run through, let me run through it again. I guess since you're, you know, just kind of now joining, and this is very confusing stuff. This took me about 3 tries to get right. Messed it up quite a few times along the way, but we are here now. So here's the idea. So we have our bind skeleton, which are the white bones, right? And the bind skeleton influences the actual geometry of the mesh, okay? So these have skin clusters on them. That's this. Let me hide that. And now we've got 2 more skeletons for our per leg. So our left leg has 3 joints for an IK and 3 joints for an FK. Okay. And so the IK joints have an IK handle, right? Which lets us, you know, drive it like that. And then the FK joints, you know, are just normal FK joints. And so then we have these handles constrained to those joints. And the reason for that is because the joints are always going to have crazy, you know, non-human readable transforms on them. And once you move them, you'll never be able to put them back where they came from, right? So I want to have a control that's zeroed on all of its transforms. And we do that by putting it under an offset group. So we have these controls that have nice 0 transforms, and so our animators can move them. And then if they, you know, they can see clearly what's going on. They can see that I'm only moving this on XZ, right? Because Y is 0. You know, if they rotate it, it's, you know, it's all readable. And then you can set it back to 0, and it goes back to its neutral pose. So that's extremely important. And so that's the reason these controls have to have these kind of complicated hierarchies of parents with offsets. So we did that for our IK skeleton and our FK skeleton. Then we have constraints on our bind skeleton that take influence from both the FK and the IK skeletons. So when you add a parent constraint with multiple inputs, it creates multiple weight attributes. And these work where 0 is no influence and 1 is full influence. So then we can build it on top of that by adding a custom attribute to this asset. And the reason we use an asset is so we can view the attribute on any of our controls simply by grouping the controls under the asset. So now what we have is we've got this value from 0 to 1 that's, you know, animator friendly, right? This is a keyable attribute that our animators can work on. And we can use that to drive which skeleton influences the bind skeleton. So it's a little convoluted, but it's very effective. So see, I'm moving the IK skeleton right now, but it's on FK mode. If I move it back, you see how it even, you know, slides between them? That's because it's animating the influence of the constraints. So very powerful, a lot we can do with this. Right, but so the disadvantage to this is it's confusing as heck to look at, right? Because we've got all these controls, they're all on top of each other, really confusing. Yeah, all right. So we've got all this going on, and I want to make it a little easier on our animators. And so one thing we can do that's pretty simple is we can get our node editor open, and we can add the actual control shapes. So let's see, so the way the node editor is a little confusing, but I'm gonna remove these. So this is just like view, like removing those doesn't delete them, it just removes them from the view. So let me get our IK controls and add them to the view. Where are they? Add. Wonder if it won't let me because they're part of an asset? That'd be weird. What's going on here? So normally when I click add on these, it adds them to the outliner. Let me just close that. Or sorry, the node graph. Well, I really need to add these to the node editor. I'm gonna restart Maya, because that's weird. I should be able to add those to the node editor. I like setting this to be under both, because if you set it to under parent, then it won't show them in the actual hierarchy where they belong, which I find confusing. No, thank you. I don't want cheap viewers. I want real viewers. I want real people that want to do real video game stuff. So get out of here with your cheap viewers. While Maya boots up, I'm gonna ban this clown. There we go. Alright, see ya. Okay. Back to work. Just wrong file. Alright. Hopefully this is all making sense. It's pretty simple principles, it's just sort of like a lot all at once. So let's see. Let's see if I can get my these nodes added. That would be great. Ah. Well, this is weird. Okay, this has really got me scratching my head now. Why can't I add those? Is this whole thing broken? Can I add joints? Okay, I can add joints. And I can add constraints. What the heck? Can't add a Oh, you know what? Maybe that's why. Aha, okay, that's why. Wait, no. Nope, I thought I had it. It's not it. What I'm trying to do here is control the visibility of these shape nodes. This. Right? Off and on. I want to control that from this, so that they're visible when we're in IK and they're invisible when we're in FK. But it's not wanting to cooperate. Oh. Yeah, I'm a little confused. Okay, hang on. Let me go back to my other file. Maybe I can find a clue here. Node editor. Look at all those nodes. Alright, let's get rid of that. So this one, can I add it? No, I can't. What? How did I do this? Oh. This is weird. Obviously, I did this somehow. Oh, is it because... Oh, you know what? Maybe these have to be removed from the group. Maybe once they're added here, you like lose the ability to... It'd be kind of weird. How do I even remove these from the asset? Like I said, it's been a long little minute since I've done this. Here we go, remove from asset. Okay, so now these are no longer part of the asset. And see, as such, we lose our little FK-IK switch thing on there. Which is, you know, we'll need to add them back to the asset later, but maybe we just need to have them not be part of it for now. Aha, there we go. Okay. That was weird, so sorry about that. Took me a little while to figure that out. But so I guess that's something to bear in mind. That's got to be like the very last step, is adding them to the asset. Because once you add them, then you can't graph them in the node editor anymore. That feels like a bug, to be honest. Alright, so we've got our control shapes. Those are our FK. And we need our IK. Alright, at long last, this is all going to come together. Alright. And now we've got our switch asset. Oh, I need my reverse node. Reverse. Graph that. Okay. Alright, here we go. This should all make sense in a second. So what I want to do, so this is these are my FK controls. So I want their visibility to be 1 when we're in FK mode and 0 when we're in IK mode. Well, and look at that, we have a variable just for that, so that ought to work. So let's try that. then I want the opposite for my IK controls. So I use my reverse. Oops. I need this to be output X. Cool. So now our IK controls, when this is on 0, right, which is IK, this will be 1, which will make the controls appear. And vice versa for FK. And it looks like it's working. See? Our IK controls are gone, but I can see our FK controls. And we are in FK mode. See? And now if I go back to my asset, because now I have to go to the asset to access this, I can switch it to IK, see that, and now our IK controls are visible. Boom. Perfect. And so yeah, now the only thing that's kind of weird is we can see the joints, and I don't want to see those, so we can just go in and hide them. Same for the FK joints. And there we go. That's functioning. That's a functioning IK FK switch. Yeah, took a little while, but we're here. Now we just have to do the exact same thing all over again for the other leg. Oh boy. Next time you play a game, remember the forgotten rigging people that put all this work in so things can move around and look cool. It's a thankless job. And what I'm doing is just basic. Like, oh my gosh, you look at a game like, you know, like Overwatch or like any AAA game with like really good animation. Dude, those rigs are just insane. This is kid stuff, like, to be frank. This is interesting. I can't see these. Even though they've been unparented and have no connections. Thumbs up. Alright, thanks. Yeah, this this is probably kind of a struggle to watch, but hopefully it's helpful. I've always kind of wished there were more like kind of live, unedited format like tutorials, just because I feel like it's probably helpful to see the mistakes. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some of these edited into something a little, you know, easier to watch at some point too, but we're doing it. You know, we're pushing through. Challenge now is figuring out why are these controls not visible. Let's have a look. Let's graph them in the node editor and see if something weird is going on. No connections. So that's weird. I should be able to see these. Probably a good time to check this into source control now that we've got one leg working. Alright, so what is going on here? Why can't I see these? This is very weird. I can see... Hang on. It's gotta have something to do with this, right? Because, you know, we're messing with visibility by an expression here. But these shouldn't be affected. They're not even graphed. Here, I have an idea. I'll just delete that, and with these on, duplicate it. If that works, that'll be kind of funny. That's weird. Worked, but I don't know why. Sometimes it's like that. Alright, well, whatever. I'll take it. Okay, so now back to the usual. We gotta constrain this to the joints. Alright, there we go. Now we have FK control. That in the group with the FK joints. We've already got our IK set up, right? Huh? Nice. Okay, this might not be that bad actually then. So, got our IK set up for the left leg, and we've got our, right leg. We've got our FK set up for the right leg. So now it's the same thing. We got to create those constraints, and then create an asset for our right leg, etc. So let's get these joints ready. And then go into the bind skeleton, turn it back on. Okay, so we want hip FK, right hip FK, right hip IK, right hip bind. Parent. Right knee FK, right knee IK, right knee bind. Parent. Right heel FK, right heel IK, right heel bind. Parent. Alright, now we've got our constraints. So now we can create a new asset. We're going to call this right leg. Go to our attribute editor, give it a new attribute. What did we call our left one? We called it LIKFK switch, so we're going to call this RIK. I can type RIKFK switch. It's keyable, it's a float, scalar, minimum 0, maximum 1. Add. Crap. I just added that to the left one. How'd that happen? Oops, can I just undo that? Perfect. Let's try that again. Channel, or no, attributes, attribute editor, add RIK, FK, switch, keyable, float, scalar, 0, 1, okay. There we go. Now we've got our RIKFK switch and our LIKFK switch. Nice. Alright, now we can get our node editor back. Clear it. Add that. Add these. I need a new reverse node. This will be our reverse for the right side. So now we've got, this is our knee. We've got the FK joint and the IK joint. So this is IK, FK. So FK 1, so this goes to FK. Yep, and then that goes to IK. Yep. And repeat. FK, IK, nice. FK, IK. That should be functional. Let's give it a try. So we should be on IK. Yeah, there we go. The bind skeleton and the geometry is following IK. And then if we switch it to FK, the bind skeleton and the geometry follows FK. Wow. Long time coming. Now we're here. What's next? Okay, visibility. Yeah, gotta do the visibility. Ooh, I think we're almost done. At least for today. I'm hungry. Right leg, add. Got our IK pole. That's FK. FK. Forgot that. Okay, what am I missing? I've got hip, knee. Maybe this one. Heel. Alright, got the hip, knee, and the heel. And got our IK pole and our foot IK. Alright. Oh, and we need our reverse. And it's gonna be... it'll be reverse 2. Alright. Okay, so this is visibility. 1 is visible, 0 is not visible. So when this is on 0, IK, we want the FK controls to be hidden. So that means this goes to visibility. Then it's going to be the opposite for our IK shapes. So that means the reverse output X goes to visibility. And when I hide this window, it should be working. Yeah. Yep, FK. IK. Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. That works. Real nice. Alright. That might be a good place to call it. What does everybody think? Any questions? How we feeling? Pretty good about this. Oh yeah, so one last step is now we can add all these. This is right, so we can add them to the asset so that they get the switch on in their own channel box. And that's really a major convenience. Go. So now when I switch that, oops, hold up. Did adding those make the visibility stop working? That would be weird. Oh, come on. What happened here? Oh, I know what happened. It's because I hid that. Yeah, okay. We gotta be careful with our visibility layers here. There we go. It's working now. And I just want these to be hidden. Basically want everything hidden except the controls, including that effector. There we go. So now we've got a nice readable FK-IK switch rig. Nice, I'm pretty happy with that. At some point I'm gonna have to figure out a better way to do the visibility, because this is kind of like a Jenga tower, and once an animator hits unhide all, he's gonna be greeted by all that stuff. But yeah, let's see, so it's right, left. Oh yeah, we need to add these to our left group. And see, adding them adds that switch variable. And then same for our FK controls. We want all of these added to left so that we have there, so that we can control the switch from there. And that's the legs. Sweet. So there's a bit more to do. We need a center of gravity control that'll, you know, make everything kind of follow along. We need... What else do we need? Maybe some set-driven keys so that we don't have to like grab all these controls at once, but we can just have one variable that we can just kind of key. Would be good. But yeah, by and large, I'm thinking we're doing pretty good. So yeah, it's been 2 hours. 2 hours to set up an FK-IK switch on 2 legs isn't that bad. So oh yeah, and then that's the other thing. I gotta do the footwork so that this actually behaves naturally and the foot actually follows the orientation of the IK handle. That shouldn't be too hard, but I'm kind of racking my brain trying to remember that one. All in all, not too bad. Yeah, one thing we could go ahead and do is start up our little groups for left, right, and center. And I basically just do this for the sake of coloring the controls. tail, and jaw top. Those would be center, jaw left, left shoulder, left leg FK, left leg IK. Those would be a left. And then right IK, right FK, right shoulder, and right jaw would be right. And yeah, that just helps a lot, in my opinion, just to kind of make things more readable. Sweet. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it there for now. One more stream, I think. I think one more stream and we'll be done with this. Ready to start animating. Alright guys, yeah, thanks for tuning in. I had fun. Hope everybody else did. And yeah, if you're not already following us, make sure to do that. Make sure to visit our Steam page for Captain McSpacebiff and wishlist that. Yeah, wishlist Captain McSpacebiff. Follow us on here, YouTube or Twitch. Join our Discord if you want to hang out and ask us questions, or if you've got something you're working on you want to share or whatever, just, you know, hang out. All those links are on both sites, so wherever you're watching on, you should be able to find the links. So yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you later. Happy Labor Day.